Admiral Vextar's four eyes widened as the sensor data scrolled across his command screen. The massive energy signature cutting through space toward their border patrol made his chitinous skin crawl with unease. His elongated fingers tapped nervously against the metal console as he studied the readings that shouldn't exist. "This cannot be right," he muttered, his mandibles clicking together in agitation. The quantum resonance patterns, the hull configuration, even the energy dispersal signatures, all pointed to one impossible conclusion: human technology. But humans were extinct, dead, wiped from existence 3 centuries ago during the Great Purge. Lieutenant Zexra approached from the tactical station, her purple-scaled hide glistening under the bridge lights. "Sir, initial scans suggest the vessel measures approximately 12 kilometers in length. Its mass exceeds anything in our current fleet database by a factor of 3. Vextar's compound eyes refocused on the main view screen. The approaching ship appeared as little more than a distant speck, but their sensors painted a terrifying picture. Massive weapon arrays lined its hull like metallic spines. Energy conduits pulsed with barely contained power. This wasn't some derelict human artifact drifting through space. This was a fully operational warship of impossible proportions. "Run a full spectrum analysis," Vextar ordered, trying to keep the tremor from his voice. "Cross-reference with all known human vessel designs from the archives." The bridge crew worked frantically at their stations. The Dominion had encountered many species during their expansion across the galaxy. The insectoid Hivrak, with their razor-sharp limbs, the crystalline beings of Sector 7 who communicated through harmonic frequencies, the gaseous entities that inhabited the nebula regions. But humans had been different, dangerous, unpredictable. "Admiral," called out Communications Officer Felmoth, his tentacles writhing with anxiety. "The vessel is not responding to any of our hail frequencies, standard Dominion protocols, emergency channels, even the old trade languages." Complete silence. Vextar felt ice forming in his secondary stomach. Silent ships meant trouble. During his 40 years of service, he had learned that vessels which refused communication usually had something to hide, or something to prove. The main screen flickered as their long-range cameras finally locked onto the approaching ship. What they saw defied comprehension. The vessel's hull was a dark metallic gray that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Strange geometric patterns covered its surface, and weapon ports dotted its structure, like the eyes of some primordial beast. Most disturbing of all were the smaller craft beginning to emerge from launch bays along its flanks. "Sir, we're detecting fighter-class vessels deploying from the unknown ship," reported Zexra, her voice barely above a whisper. "Estimated count is already past 200 and climbing." The tactical display lit up with red dots as more and more small craft poured from the massive vessel like angry insects from a disturbed hive. Each fighter moved with precision and purpose, forming attack formations that Vextar recognized from ancient military texts. Human formations. Deep within the mysterious warship, Captain Li Jinwu stood before a 3-dimensional holographic display showing the Dominion fleet. His dark eyes studied each alien vessel with the patience of a predator watching prey. The bridge around him hummed with quiet efficiency as his crew prepared for what was to come. "Status report," Jinwu said calmly, his hands clasped behind his back. "All fighter squadrons deployed and in position," replied Commander Park Min-soo from the tactical station. "Enemy fleet consists of 1 heavy cruiser, 4 destroyers, and 12 patrol vessels. Standard Dominion border formation." Jinwu nodded. After 3 centuries of hiding beneath dead worlds and in asteroid fields, humanity had studied every alien species in the galaxy. They knew their weaknesses, their tactics, their fears. The time for hiding was over. "Any response to our presence?" Jinwu asked. "They're scanning us repeatedly and attempting communication on multiple frequencies," reported Lieutenant Kim So-young from Communications. "Should we respond?" "Not yet," Jinwu replied. "Let them wonder. Let them fear. They spent 300 years believing we were extinct. Time to correct that misconception." On the Dominion flagship, alarms began blaring throughout the corridors. Vextar watched helplessly as his sensors detected massive energy buildups within the human vessel's weapon systems. The smaller fighters had spread out in a perfect sphere around his fleet, cutting off any escape routes. "Admiral, what are your orders?" asked Zexra, her voice cracking with tension. Vextar stared at the impossible sight before him. A human dreadnought that shouldn't exist, crewed by a species that should be dead, armed with weapons that defied current technology. His mandibles clicked rapidly as he processed the implications. Either their sensors were experiencing the most catastrophic malfunction in Dominion history, or the galaxy's greatest lie was about to be brutally exposed. As he watched the human fighters tighten their formation around his fleet like a closing fist, Vextar realized with growing horror that it was definitely the latter. The age of human extinction was over. The age of human revenge had begun. The massive crystal chamber beneath the Dominion capital world pulsed with urgent energy as emergency reports flooded in from every corner of the galaxy. The High Council's session had devolved into complete pandemonium. Supreme Chancellor Kethamar's massive form towered over the podium, his 6 arms gesturing wildly as he tried to maintain order among the panicked representatives. "Silence!" His voice boomed through the chamber's acoustic amplifiers. The gathered aliens fell quiet, their various breathing apparatus creating an eerie symphony of hisses and clicks. "This cannot be happening. We witnessed the bombardment of Earth ourselves. We saw their colonies burn. We verified complete extinction protocols." Councillor Thextra, her blue-scaled head trembling with fear, stepped forward. "Chancellor, the reports are consistent across 17 sectors. Human vessels are emerging from what we thought was empty space. Our border patrols are reporting massive energy signatures that match pre-extinction human technology." The holographic display in the center of the chamber flickered to life, showing a 3-dimensional map of the galaxy. Red dots appeared like a spreading infection across the outer rim territories. Each dot represented a human vessel that shouldn't exist. "How many?" Kethamar asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Current count exceeds 800 ships and climbing," replied Defense Minister Vorak, his tentacles writhing nervously around his datapad. "And these aren't small vessels. We're detecting battleships, carriers, and dreadnoughts that dwarf our current fleet capabilities." The chamber erupted again as representatives from different species began shouting over each other. The insectoid. Delegates from the hive worlds clicked their mandibles in agitation. The gas-breathing entities from Nebula Prime released clouds of anxious pheromones. Even the usually calm crystalline beings from the core systems resonated with frequencies of pure terror. Meanwhile, emergency archaeological teams were being dispatched to former human colony worlds at breakneck speed. Dr. Kel Thran led the first team to what had once been called New Geneva, a human mining colony that had been destroyed during the early phases of the Great Purge. Their shuttle descended through the atmosphere toward what their sensors showed as lifeless ruins. "Scanning shows no surface activity," reported the pilot, a nervous young Dominion officer. "Radiation levels are minimal. Whatever happened here, it was thorough." But as they landed among the crumbling buildings, Dr. Kelthran noticed something odd. The destruction patterns were too uniform, too perfect. Real devastation was chaotic. This looked almost staged. "Bring the deep scan equipment," he ordered his team. "Something isn't right here." The portable scanners revealed the impossible truth within minutes. Beneath the fake ruins lay a massive network of tunnels and chambers. The readings showed active power sources, atmospheric recycling systems, and what appeared to be industrial complexes operating at full capacity. "This is impossible," whispered Dr. Kelthran as he stared at the scanner data. "These facilities have been active for centuries. The humans never left. They just went underground." Similar discoveries were being made across dozens of former human worlds. What the galaxy had believed were dead, radioactive wastelands, were actually elaborate. Camouflage hiding thriving underground civilizations. The scope of the deception was staggering. Back in space, Admiral Park Soo-jin stood on the command bridge of the human flagship, watching the chaos unfold across alien communication channels. Her vessel, the Resilience, was a testament to 3 centuries of hidden human engineering. Every system had been designed and built in secret, incorporating technologies that the aliens had never encountered. "Admiral, we're intercepting panic transmissions across all Dominion frequencies. reported Communications Officer Lee Dong-min. "They're trying to coordinate a response, but they're completely unprepared for this." Soo-jin nodded, her eyes fixed on the tactical display showing human fleets emerging from hidden bases throughout the galaxy. Each ship carried the hopes and determination of billions of humans who had spent generations preparing for this moment. "Open a channel on all frequencies," she ordered. "It's time to announce ourselves." The bridge crew worked quickly to establish the transmission. This would be the first time in 300 years that a human voice would be heard across the galactic communication networks. "Channel open, Admiral," Lee Dong-min confirmed. Soo-jin stepped forward, her voice calm and measured, despite the magnitude of the moment. "People of the galaxy, this is Admiral Park Soo-jin of the Human Liberation Fleet. For 3 centuries you have believed us extinct. You celebrated our destruction. You divided our worlds among yourselves." Across the galaxy, alien communication centers fell silent as her words reached every inhabited system. "But we were never gone. We watched, we learned, we prepared. Every world you thought you had destroyed became our fortress. Every colony you believed dead became our sanctuary. We remember every injustice. We returned to reclaim what was stolen from us." The transmission continued to broadcast as human fleets moved into position around key strategic points throughout the galaxy. Ancient shipyards that had been hidden in asteroid fields activated for the first time in centuries. Manufacturing facilities buried beneath dead worlds began producing weapons and supplies at an unprecedented rate. "We do not seek conquest," Soo-jin's voice continued. "We seek justice. We seek our place in the galaxy that was taken from us. To those who participated in our supposed extinction, know this: your reckoning has arrived." The transmission ended, leaving the galaxy in stunned silence. The truth was finally revealed. Humanity had never died. They had simply been patient, enough to plan the perfect return. The age of alien dominance was about to end. Deep beneath the surface of what the aliens called Dead World Gamma 7, Commander Yu Min-ho stood in the central command chamber of humanity's largest hidden military complex. The massive underground facility stretched for hundreds of kilometers in every direction, carved from solid rock over the span of 3 centuries. Thousands of human engineers and workers moved through the corridors like blood cells through arteries, each person dedicated to the greatest deception in galactic history. "Status report from all sectors," Min-ho commanded, his eyes scanning the holographic displays that showed human fleet positions across the galaxy. Lieutenant Choi Hai-won stepped forward with her data tablet. "Sir, Fleet Group Alpha has successfully emerged from Asteroid Base 117. Fleet Group Beta is launching from the caverns beneath former colony Kepler 442b. Fleet Group Gamma is activating from the underwater facilities on Oceanus Prime." Min-ho nodded with satisfaction. Each fleet represented decades of secret construction and careful planning. While the aliens had celebrated humanity's extinction, humans had been building the most advanced war machine the galaxy had ever seen. "What about the Dominion response?" he asked. "Complete chaos, sir. Their intelligence networks are overwhelmed. They're discovering that every world they thought they had destroyed is actually a fully operational human stronghold. On the planet, formerly known as New Sparta, Dominion inspection teams were making horrifying discoveries. What appeared to be a barren wasteland from orbit was actually an elaborate holographic projection. Beneath the fake surface lay cities housing millions of humans, factories producing advanced starships, and training facilities that had been preparing warriors for 3 centuries. Dr. Vextai, leading the Dominion archaeological team, watched in disbelief as his scanners revealed the truth. "The power signatures are off the charts," he reported to his superiors. "These facilities have been operating at full capacity for generations. How did we miss this?" His assistant, a young Carathian named Jexlo, pointed to the scanner readings. "Sir, look at these tunnel networks. They extend for thousands of kilometers underground. And these aren't crude excavations. This is advanced engineering that rivals anything in the Dominion. Meanwhile, in space above the planet, human vessels were rising from hidden launch facilities disguised as natural rock formations. The ships emerged with their weapons already powered, their shields at full strength, and their crews ready for battle. Captain Kim Sung-ho commanded one of these vessels, a heavy cruiser called the Defiance. His ship had been built entirely underground, using materials and technologies that the aliens had never encountered. As they broke through the planetary atmosphere, he felt the weight of 3 centuries of human patience and preparation. All stations report ready, announced his tactical officer, Lieutenant Park Kyung-min. Weapon systems online, shield generators at maximum power, engine core running at optimal efficiency. Target the Dominion inspection fleet, Kim Sung-ho ordered. Let's give them a proper welcome. The alien vessels had no time to react. Human weapons, perfected through centuries of secret research, tore through Dominion shields like paper. The advanced alien ships that had once seemed invincible crumpled under the assault of human plasma cannons and quantum torpedoes. Similar scenes were playing out across 17 sectors of space. Human fleets emerged from hidden bases in asteroid fields, from caverns carved into moons, and from underwater facilities on ocean worlds. Each emergence was perfectly coordinated, catching the Dominion forces completely off guard. Admiral Caxmore of the Dominion Fifth Fleet watched in horror as his patrol ships were systematically destroyed by human vessels that appeared seemingly from nowhere. "How are they doing this?" he demanded. "Our intelligence showed these systems were empty." His tactical officer, Commander Jexra, studied the battle data with growing alarm. "Sir, their technology is unlike anything in our databases. Their shields are deflecting our most powerful weapons with minimal energy drain. Their own weapons are cutting through our defenses like they don't exist." The truth was becoming clear to the alien leadership. Humanity hadn't just survived underground. They had thrived, while the Dominion had grown complacent, believing themselves the dominant power in the galaxy. Humans had been developing technologies in complete secrecy. On Earth itself, now revealed to be the center of a vast underground empire, President Lee Jae-sung addressed the hidden human population through secure communication networks. "My fellow humans," his voice echoed through underground cities that housed billions of people. "Today, we emerge from the shadows. Today, we reclaim our rightful place in the galaxy." The underground cities were marvels of human engineering. Vast chambers supported by quantum-enhanced materials housed entire populations. Hydroponic farms fed millions. Manufacturing centers produced everything from personal computers to massive starship engines. Schools and universities had trained generations of humans who had never seen the surface but who knew every detail of alien technology and tactics. "Our ancestors made the ultimate sacrifice," President Lee continued. "They allowed the galaxy to believe we were extinct so that we could prepare for this moment. Every human who has lived and died in these underground cities has contributed to our victory." As human fleets continued their coordinated assault across the galaxy, alien commanders realized they weren't fighting a desperate group of survivors. They were facing a shadow empire that had spent 3 centuries studying their every weakness, planning their every move, and preparing for total war. The Dominion Military Command desperately tried to coordinate a response, but their forces were scattered and unprepared. Human intelligence networks had infiltrated every level of alien society, providing detailed information about fleet movements, defensive positions, and strategic weaknesses. The war that the Dominion thought they had won 3 centuries ago was, indeed, just beginning. And this time humanity was ready. Admiral Vextar stood in the Emergency Command Center, deep within the Dominion capital world, surrounded by holographic displays showing the collapse of their outer defenses. His 4 eyes darted between the tactical screens as red warning symbols multiplied across the galaxy map. What had started as isolated human attacks was now revealed as a perfectly orchestrated campaign of total warfare. "Sir, we've lost contact with the 7th Fleet," reported his aide, Commander Felker. Last transmission indicated they were facing human vessels with technology that completely neutralized their plasma cannons. Vextar's mandibles clicked nervously as he studied the battle reports. Something was wrong with this picture. The human attacks weren't random or desperate. They were surgical, precise, targeting specific weaknesses in Dominion ship designs that shouldn't have been known to anyone outside their own military engineers. "Pull up the historical battle records," he ordered. I want to see every engagement with human forces over the past 3 centuries. As the data flowed across his screens, a terrifying pattern emerged. Every human defeat had followed the same blueprint. Initial resistance, apparent desperation, then sudden collapse when faced with superior Dominion firepower. But now Vextar saw what he had missed before. In each battle, human ships had tested different Dominion weapons systems before retreating. They had probed shield frequencies, weapon ranges, and tactical formations. "By the void," he whispered. They were never trying to win those battles. They were studying us. Meanwhile, in the Kepler sector, Captain Kim Tae-hyun led his strike squadron through the heart of a Dominion patrol fleet. His ship, the Retribution, moved with deadly grace between the alien vessels, its weapons finding weak points that no alien captain would ever suspect existed. "Target the junction point between their forward shield generators," Kim ordered his weapons officer, Lieutenant Song Ji-won. "Fire quantum torpedoes at Mark 77 Alpha." The torpedoes struck with devastating precision. The Dominion Heavy cruiser's shields collapsed in a cascade failure that its own engineers had never anticipated. Human scientists had spent decades analyzing captured shield technology, finding vulnerabilities that took generations to discover. "How did they know exactly where to hit us?" gasped the dying Dominion captain as his ship broke apart. The answer lay in the vast underground archives beneath former human colony worlds. Every piece of alien technology captured during the Great Purge had been secretly studied, reverse-engineered, and improved upon. Human engineers had taken Dominion plasma weapons and made them twice as powerful. They had studied alien shield systems and developed weapons specifically designed to bypass them. Dr. Yoon Soo-jin worked in one of these hidden research facilities, a massive complex carved into the core of an asteroid. Around her, thousands of human scientists labored at workstations filled with alien technology that officially didn't exist. The Carathian energy weapons have a cycling frequency weakness every 3.7 seconds, she announced to her team. "I'm uploading the countermeasure protocols to all fleet commanders now." Her colleague, Dr. Nam Hyun-woo, looked up from his analysis of Hive World biotechnology. "The insectoid ships rely on organic neural networks for coordination. I've developed a frequency disruptor that will sever their command links." This was the true scope of humanity's deception. While aliens celebrated their extinction, humans had been building the most advanced intelligence network in galactic history. Every alien species, every technology, every military doctrine had been catalogued and countered. President Lee Jae-sung reviewed the progress reports from his command bunker beneath the ruins of Seoul. The underground cities had produced more than just ships and weapons. They had created an entire civilization dedicated to one purpose: total victory over their alien oppressors. "Industrial output is exceeding projections," reported Defense Minister Kim Young-sik. "Our shipyards are producing vessels faster than the entire Dominion industrial complex. 3 centuries of preparation is paying off." The numbers were staggering. While the Dominion Empire maintained fleets across hundreds of worlds, humanity had concentrated its entire industrial capacity on military production. Every underground city was a weapons factory. Every hidden base was a strategic resource center. In space above the Dominion border worlds, human fleets demonstrated their technological superiority with terrifying efficiency. Admiral Park Min-jun commanded the Northern Strike Force, a collection of vessels that represented the pinnacle of human engineering. "Deploy the gravity disruptors," he ordered. "Let's show them what happens when you underestimate human ingenuity." The Dominion fleet watched in horror as their own ships began to tear themselves apart. Human gravity weapons, based on theoretical physics that aliens had dismissed as impossible, created localized distortions that crushed enemy vessels from within. "This is impossible," screamed Admiral Kethrol as his flagship's hull buckled under forces that shouldn't exist. "Their technology is centuries ahead of ours." But it wasn't centuries ahead. It was centuries focused. While the Dominion had spread their research across exploration, trade, and conquest, humanity had concentrated entirely on warfare. Every underground laboratory had worked toward one goal: the complete defeat of their enemies. As human forces converged on the Empire's core, the aliens finally understood the true nature of their situation. This wasn't a war of liberation or survival. This was a war of extermination that had been planned for 300 years. Humanity had never intended to coexist peacefully with the species that had tried to destroy them. They had always planned for total victory. They had simply been patient, enough to wait for the perfect moment to achieve it. The galaxy trembled as the human war machine revealed its full might. The age of alien dominance was ending, and the age of human supremacy was about to begin. The massive orbital defense platforms around the Dominion capital world of Zenthari Prime fired their final desperate volleys into the void as the assembled human armada approached. Emperor Kethral stood on the command deck of his flagship, watching through the viewport as his empire's most powerful weapons struck the advancing human vessels with no visible effect. "Sir, our quantum disruptors are having no impact," reported his weapons commander, voice trembling with disbelief. "Their shield technology is absorbing everything we throw at them." Kethral's 6 arms gestured helplessly at the tactical display. The human fleet stretched across space like a metal constellation, thousands of vessels moving in perfect formation. Each ship gleamed with advanced armor plating that seemed to drink in the light from Zenthari's twin suns. At the center of the human formation, Admiral Choi Hye-jin stood calmly on the bridge of the massive dreadnought, Vindication. The ship was a monument to 3 centuries of human determination, its hull inscribed with the names of every human world that had supposedly been destroyed. "Ma'am, the enemy's orbital defenses are down to 30% capacity," reported her tactical officer, Commander Lee Sung-min. "Their fleet is in full retreat formation." Hye-jin nodded, watching as Dominion vessels fled in all directions like scattered insects. Some tried to escape to hyperspace, only to find their jump drives mysteriously failing. Human jamming technology had evolved far beyond anything the aliens could comprehend. "Open a channel to the Emperor's flagship," she ordered. "It's time to end this." The communication array activated, and Hye-jin's image appeared on screens throughout the Dominion fleet. Her uniform bore the insignia of the Human Liberation Command, a symbol that had been hidden for 3 centuries, but now struck fear into alien hearts across the galaxy. "Emperor Kethral," her voice carried clearly across the void, "I am Admiral Choi Hye-jin of the Human Liberation Fleet. Your empire is defeated, your fleets are destroyed, your worlds are surrounded." On his flagship, Emperor Kethral sank into his command throne, his proud posture finally broken. Around him, his officers watched in stunned silence as the human admiral continued. "You have 2 choices," Hye-jin announced. "Unconditional surrender or total annihilation. We have shown restraint so far, but our patience has limits." The Emperor's aide whispered urgently in his ear. "Sir, our long-range sensors show human fleets surrounding all our core worlds. They have us completely surrounded." Kethral closed his primary eyes in defeat. 3 centuries ago, his predecessors had celebrated the destruction of humanity. They had divided human worlds among themselves, believing they had eliminated a dangerous rival. Now that rival had returned stronger than ever. "What are your terms?" he asked, his voice carrying across space to the human fleet. Hye-jin's expression remained stern as she outlined humanity's demands. "The Dominion Empire will retain your original homeworld and 12 colony systems of your choosing. All other territories will be returned to human administration. Your military forces will be reduced to planetary defense only. You will provide full reparations for the worlds you stole from us." The terms were harsh but not genocidal. Humanity had learned from the aliens' mistakes. Total extermination bred only more conflict. Better to leave the defeated enemies alive but powerless. "Furthermore," Hye-jin continued, "you will broadcast a message to all galactic powers explaining exactly what happened here. They need to understand that humanity has returned, and we will reclaim everything that was taken from us." As the Dominion's surrender was transmitted across the galaxy, panic spread through alien command centers on hundreds of worlds. The Hive Collective immediately began fortifying their borders. The Crystalline Federation recalled all their exploration fleets. Even the mighty Korathian Empire started emergency defense preparations. President Lee Jae-sung watched the surrender ceremony from his command bunker deep beneath Earth's surface. Around him, human leaders who had spent their entire lives underground finally saw their ultimate victory achieved. "Transmit the message to all human colonies," he ordered. "After 3 centuries in hiding, it's time for our people to see the sun again." Across the galaxy, hidden human cities began opening their sealed doors. Massive elevators carried millions of people to the surface for the first time in their lives. Children who had been born in underground caverns gazed up at stars they had only seen in pictures. On New Geneva, Captain Park Kyung-soo led the first surface expedition in 300 years. As his team emerged from the hidden tunnels, they found alien archaeological equipment scattered around the fake ruins that had concealed their city. "Sir, look at this," called out Lieutenant Yoon Min-ji, holding up an alien datapad. "They actually believed these ruins were real. They never suspected we were right beneath their feet." The scope of humanity's deception was finally revealed to the galaxy. Every dead human world was actually a thriving center of civilization. Every abandoned colony was a military base. Every ruin was camouflage hiding advanced technology. The final message from Zenthari Prime echoed across every communication network in the galaxy. Emperor Kethral's defeated voice carried a warning that would haunt alien nightmares for generations to come. "To all species of the galactic community," he announced, his words heavy with despair. "We have been deceived for 3 centuries. Humanity never died. They never surrendered. They simply waited in the darkness, growing stronger while we grew complacent." The message continued as human fleets appeared around alien worlds throughout the galaxy, not attacking, but simply making their presence known. They were never gone. They were never beaten. They were just waiting. And now, they have returned to reclaim their place as the dominant power in the galaxy. As the transmission ended, a new age began. The time of alien expansion was over. The age of human hegemony had begun, and in the depths of space, human vessels continued their patient journey toward every corner of the galaxy, carrying with them 3 centuries of determination and the promise that humanity would never again allow itself to be pushed to the edge of extinction. The end.